CBN banks to peg interest on deposits at 10% minimum. AMCON seeks National Assembly support in 5 trillion naira debt recovery, plans moratorium for deserving obligators. Brent hits a 5-month high at $46 per barrel. Plus, Business Express today will focus its searchlight on the impact of digital economy on Nigerians. The program is reaching you from our network service of the NTA, and I am Leah Katung Baba Tunde. The National Bureau of Statistics says the insurance sector of the economy contracted by 28.15% in the second quarter of the year. This is contained in the Bureau's Gross Domestic Product report for the second quarter of 2020. The report states that the finance and insurance sector consisted of two subsectors, namely financial institutions and insurance, which accounted for 89.82% and 10.18% of the sector in real terms in the second quarter. As a whole, the sector grew at 20.82% in nominal terms year-on-year, with the growth rate of financial institutions at 30.98%, but minus 28.15% growth was recorded for insurance. The overall rate was higher than the corresponding quarter in 2019 by 19.85% and lower by minus 3.14% compared with the preceding quarter. Now, Africa Telecommunications Union supports young innovators. The African Telecommunications Union, I beg your pardon, has launched the ATU Africa Innovations Challenge 2020, a competition designed to identify and support young African innovators who have developed mobile applications useful for benefiting the fight to contain COVID-19 and possibly other emergency situations in Africa in the future. According to the ATU Secretary General John Omo, a top prize winner in the competition is expected to carry home a cash award of $5,000 aside being engaged in other mentorship and partnership programs. Now, Business Express will continue after this break. To discuss prospects in the digital economy is the Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, Inua Kashifu Abdullahi. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it possible to refer to the ICT sector as the new oil for Nigeria?
Yes, I can say yes because since May 2017, the Economic published an article titled "The World's Most Valuable Resource is No Longer Oil, but Data." The article has generated a deal of discussion and the birth phrase, "Data is the new oil." And people use data and ICT interchangeably, Looking at what is happening in Nigeria, the way the ICT sector is growing, I think we can say ICT is the new oil. And also, if you look at it, I can even say ICT is more valuable than oil because oil is a definite resource while ICT can be reusable. So in Nigeria, we have noticed it from in less than a decade, the ICT sector has grown from contributing less than 2% of our GDP to almost 17.08% today.
So can you
Therefore, I
just
can say the
tell us what
ICT
are the
new
driving
oil in
factors
Nigeria.
responsible for this growth we've seen, especially in the second quarter of this year?
The President Muhammad Buhari's initiative in making Nigeria a digital nation is responsible for this. If you could remember, in October 2019, the president renewed and expanded our ministry mandate to cover digital economy. And in November 2019, the president unveiled the National Digital Economy Policy for Digital Nigeria. And he directed our minister, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantemi, to implement the policy. As we progress in the implementation, just early this year, COVID-19 hit unexpectedly. So the COVID-19 pandemic has helped us accelerated our implementation because before the COVID-19, the ICT sector was emerging, but when COVID-19 hit, it made it more profound and also uh, accelerated the way people embrace the digital sector in general. So the late by the president is what is making the sector to grow in an unprecedented manner.
Now, every digital economy all over the world is largely dependent on mobile broadband penetration. So, what exactly is the situation in Nigeria? What is our situation at present?
It is done here in Nigeria because broadband provide the backbone for any digital economy. And Mr. President, on the 19th March 2020, just before the lockdown, he launched the new national broadband policy. The policy has three primary objectives. Firstly, to get a minimum of 25 Mbps of data download in rural community and
Okay, sorry, the program will, well, we're going to continue with the discussion once the network service gets better. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has directed all deposit money banks that effective Tuesday, September 1, 2020, interest on local currency savings deposits shall be negotiable subject to a minimum of 10% per annum of monetary policy rate MPR. This takes savings interest rate from 3.9% to 1.25%, given that saving interest rate is now 10% of MPR, which is 12.5%. In an August 31 letter to all banks signed by Bello Hassan, Director of Banking Supervision, CBN said it noted with satisfaction the recent declining trend in market rates in the banking sector following the implementation of policies aimed, among others, at stimulating credit flow to the real sector. Bello said in line with the recent market developments, the bank has reviewed the minimum interest payable on savings deposits as provided in its guide to charges by banks other financial and non-bank financial institutions issued in December 2020. The federal government has listed its long-term 75 billion naira bond on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, paving way for bond holders and investors to trade under debt securities. The 75 billion naira bond was issued on July 24, 2020, with a maturity date of July 24, 2045, representing a tenure of 25 years. It carries a coupon of 9.8% yearly, payable twice in a year, January 24 and July 24 every year. A total of 75 million units of the 9.8% 25-year bond were admitted to the official list of the exchange at the price of 1,000 naira, the book value price for the issuance. Okay, I understand we've been able to reconnect with the DG of NITDA, and we're having also to deal with the issues that come with technology. DG, sir, the rains this morning, for instance, how is it affecting the broadband we're using presently?
Um, like I said, just before the lockdown, the president launched the new national broadband policy 2020 to 2025 with three primary objectives. Firstly is to get a minimum of 25 Mbps data download in the urban communities and minimum of 10 Mbps data download in the rural communities. So, and also to increase the broadband coverage to 90% of the Nigerian population by 2025. And thirdly, to reduce the cost of 1 gigabyte of data to 390 naira, which is the 2% of the minimum income or 1% of the minimum wage. So this is going to tremendously increase the connectivity in the country and also provide the necessary infrastructure for digital economy to thrive. So the time we achieve this, rain will no longer affect our internet connectivity the way it does now, because we are going to have enough fiber optics connectivity around the country, which rain cannot affect. Mostly rain affects the radio connectivity because of the interference in the wave.
Okay, so thank you. Now, as a regulator for this sector, what exactly is Nigeria doing to ensure that the Nigerian digital ecosystem is fully rooted and functional, considering the little hitches we've experienced?
Yeah, as a regulator, what we do, we level the playing field and create an enabling environment for the business thrive. Like, for example, at NIDA, last year we came up with Nigerian data protection regulation, which is going to create or which is going to make people to trust the digital economy in general, because digital economy is about data and people will trust when their data is protected. Also, our regulation is to unlock opportunities. Like, for example, the data protection regulation has created more than 2,700 jobs and industry valued at more than 2.5 billion naira within a year. In addition, looking for other opportunities, regulatory instruments that can help unlock other opportunities in the area of emerging technologies. Currently working on guideline and strategy for advanced blockchain and robotics. Because recently, Microsoft has estimated that in the next 5 years, there are going to be 149 million jobs in the area of programming, artificial intelligence, and data analytics as a result of COVID-19. So to prepare Nigeria to benefit from this opportunity, the crisis is up, the opportunity in the crisis. We are coming up with regulatory instrument because in crisis management, we believe in every crisis there is an opportunity for you to shine. And the darker the night, the brighter you shine. So this is COVID-19 pandemic has provided an opportunity for the ICT sector to shine. That's why you can see the unprecedented increase in the contribution to our GDP.
So now, in this shine now over COVID-19, how would you describe the functionality now of competitiveness and within the ambit of access to digital products and services?
Well, Nigeria, we have a competitive advantage to globally be a force to reckon with when you talked about the digital economy. Looking at our youthful population is a advantage to us. If harnessed well, it will help us be a leading digital economy in the world. And also looking at the government initiatives around the digital economy, the national broadband planning and other initiatives. So the opportunity is huge for us to reap. Then like what we are doing now, we are looking at how we can harness the potentials we have in terms of our youthful population to come up with new industries. Like we are working on the business process outsourcing guideline, which can help our youth citizens to have decent jobs. By me, you can be in Nigeria working for an American company or a British company. And when you look at this market segment, at the moment, India is dominating, but Nigeria, we have competitive edge over India in terms of our English-speaking people, and also our time zone is a competitive advantage for us.
Thank you very much. That's the DG of NITDA, Akashfu Abdullahi. Thank you for joining me this morning on Business Express.
Thank you. It is a pleasure with you.
Thank you. Now we'll be moving on to other businesses. As its debt portfolio continues to rise, the Assets Management Corporation of Nigeria (AMCON) has called on the National Assembly to support its efforts in recovering the debt of over 5 trillion naira from obligators. According to the corporation, the Ninth Senate could pile pressure on some of the obligators through its Committee on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions under the chairmanship of Senator Ubasani. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer AMCON Ahmed Lawan Kuru made the call when he led the management of the corporation to appear before a technical session of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions in Abuja. The committee met to review the impact of COVID-19 on AMCON's policies and processes with a view to repositioning it for optimal performance amid the pandemic. According to Kuru, the collaboration was vital to recovering the huge outstanding debt, as it would have a positive impact on Nigeria's economy, especially with the challenge of the pandemic. He noted that some of the obligators were exploring loopholes in the act prior to amendment, making the corporation to witness a slow judicial process, including undue adjournment, lack of hearing date, and adequate understanding of the AMCON Act, among other issues. And it's a green start on the Nigerian Stock Exchange this week and also a positive close for the last trading day of August as investors gain 9.26 billion naira. The NSE All Share Index advanced by 0.07% to close at 25,327.13 points, while market capitalization closed at 13.212 trillion naira. 302 million shares exchanged hands in 3,859 deals valued at 2.627 billion naira. UACN, Zenith Bank and UBA recorded the highest volume of trades. Mobile led 11 gainers, while CNI Leasing led the losers. Now, stocks in Asia Pacific were mixed in Tuesday trade as a private survey showed Chinese manufacturing activity in August expanding at its fastest pace in nearly 10 years. Here's Muplang Dakok with details.
Stocks in Asia Pacific were mixed in Tuesday trade as a private survey showed Chinese manufacturing activity in August expanding at its fastest pace in nearly 10 years. The Shanghai Composite inched up frantically by 0.08%, while the Nikkei Composite added 0.01%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also gained marginally. European markets are expected to be higher on Tuesday after manufacturing activity in China. The UK's FTSE 100 index is up more than 28 points at 5,947 on Tuesday. CAC 40 of France is poised to open 25 points higher, while Germany's DAX is on track to open 89 points higher. In the US, stock futures were flat in overnight trading on Monday after Wall Street notched its fifth consecutive month of gains. Futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose about 20 points. The S&P 500 futures and the Nasdaq 100 futures were both little changed. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones wrapped up the best August in more than 30 years. With Global Market Update, Muplang Dakok.
Oil prices rose on Monday with Brent topping $46.5, reaching its highest level in over 5 months. Strong crude demand from China has been one of the most important drivers in the ongoing recovery in oil markets. And in contrast to what many analysts expected, Chinese demand continued to be remarkably robust in July and August. A survey released this morning showed that China's services sector grew at its fastest pace in over 2.5 years. In August, the so-called non-manufacturing PMI together with the manufacturing PMI are important sentiment gauges for the health of the economy. Next to positive data from China, a weaker United States dollar remains an important factor for crude markets. Other key crude importers in Asia continue to be tempted to purchase oil as a weaker dollar results in lower import bills. More bullish news for crude markets came from the UAE as Abu Dhabi National Oil Company ADNOC said it plans to cut crude supplies by 30% in October. The decision to not ramp up exports after OPEC Plus officially eased cuts in August showed the UAE's commitment to the output cut deal. And gold prices rose on Tuesday to their highest level in nearly 2 weeks as the dollar slipped to multi-year lows on bets that U.S. interest rates would stay lower for a longer period after the Federal Reserve's new policy framework. That does it on this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter. The handle is NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag BizExp. Remember to always wash your hands with soap on the running water as the world battles COVID-19. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. I am Leah Katung Babatunde.